Haha, better. That's better. Wow. I cannot believe that was a real noob mistake. Thank you so much that someone was here on the stream to point that out. I can't, I really need to just get myself like a pre-stream checklist because I had this down back in the day. It was just like I could rush in the minute before the stream started and everything was set up and everything was ready. It's been a few years and man, I'm just dusting off the cobwebs. So I take it, I'm just going to do the whole thing again just in case. But it's done. Yay. Yeah, so I am Amber M. Davies. I am a writer of things. Lots of things, actually. Lots of crazy projects. But I don't yet have a novel under my belt. And that is something that I'm trying to fix. I just keep getting sidetracked by all these shiny projects. And, you know, the only way that I was going to do the dang thing was if I just carved out time specifically to do this. And I thought, how cool would it be to bring people along for like my first novel? Not that I'm catfishing you today, though. I'm not yet at the point where I can start the novel officially. I have a couple of projects I need to button up. So for me, this is going to be a creative sprint. I guess it's still technically writing. I am game writing, but I just have these couple of projects that I need to finally get out the door so that I can pave the way for my first novel. So I'm going to just talk very shortly before we get to a focused sprint and prepare everyone for the chaos that could be a writing sprint. All right, so this is what I'm going to be working on. I've been working on a cozy RPG, which I have to maybe reframe cozy because it started out as cozy, and the more that I work on this to where it's fun, at least what I think other people will enjoy, it feels less cozy and more like cozy competitive, and I don't even know if that's a thing. But right now it's just I don't have an official title for the RPG. It was the Burroughs Best Little Bake Off originally. Now that I've been working and tweaking some things, it's no longer baking focused. It is all kinds of stuff. So then I was like, oh, they're not bakers, they're chefs. But it is set in like a small little farm town, so could be like farm to table frenzy. Dr. Platorius came up with that. I really like it. So we're kind of working on it because frenzy is definitely not giving cozy vibes. Maybe I'll call it the Frenzy RPG. All right, so what I'm working on here is I did a first play test, realized it needed an overhaul. I have almost finished that overhaul right now. What I am doing is I am working on special ingredients and the powers that they will impart should you choose to use them for their powers. In the game, the mechanics, you don't have to. You can actually deliver the special ingredients to the table so that then the dishes can be completed, and it's kind of a competitive thing between teams who can complete these, 10 dishes first. So you have options, right? There's chaos. Again, not cozy. But you have options. You can either deliver this special ingredient and help complete the next dish, or you can eat it and then some chaos and things happen in the game. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. I'm going to set myself a timer of 25 minutes. Y'all, if you're working on anything, you can be focused for 25 minutes working on what you're doing. If you want, you can steal my prompt and start thinking about, in your world, what kind of special ingredients there would be that could cause various abilities, special abilities, or just, let chaos ensue. If you have your own goal, I wouldn't mind seeing it in the chat and just put that in there so that we have. I'm a big believer in transparency, right? I have a horrible memory, so lying is just, it's really dumb of me, right? So I'm a big believer in transparency. You're always going to know what I'm working on, when I'm working on it, and what I did. Um, all right. So with that, the other thing I'm going to bring up here is I realized today that while I am working on my own, I do tend to talk to myself quite a bit. I just kind of, whisper this and oh, maybe that shouldn't be there and I'm kind of torn. And I know I don't have a lot of viewers right now, so maybe this isn't as important, but other other sprint streams, they will leave their sound on and you will hear the clickety clackety of them typing. You'll hear, background noise if someone rings the doorbell. Um, so that seems to be okay. Would it bother anyone who is in a focused, mindset of their own, working on their own project to hear me go, ooh, I don't like where that's placed. Let me just slide that over here. Oh, let me type. Oh, that's a better name. Yeah. Ooh, I like that name. Like these are the kinds of things I do for myself. Um, let's see here. We have, it's a cool idea. I'm working on Baba Yaga at the moment. Baba Yaga sounds awesome. Hadn't thought beyond the iron spoon, but adding the shrooms, flowers, and feathers to have boons could work. Yeah, I really, really like to think outside the box when I can. Um, and because I did an overhaul on my game mechanics, I basically stripped it completely away from D&D. It almost feels like a board game as far as mechanics go, right? It's not 30 feet that you're going, it's 6 squares. And there's no, you're not a cleric with magic. You are, a this type of chef archetype. And maybe on another stream or maybe during one of the breaks I can go through my chef archetypes. But the now that I've kind of done an overhaul on the mechanics of the game, I've really started thinking of some ideas of what these special ingredients can do. And I've also, when I say special ingredients, maybe I also need to reflavor them as spices because they on the map you can collect dairy, you can collect grains, you can collect all these things to make dishes. What you can't collect are spices. And so I have started thinking of these special ingredients as things that can flavor or garnish or and do you have to eat it? No. Black pepper, right? You can easily just blow it out in the air and everybody's sneezing. I mean, that's a kind of a gimme, right? But there are different things you can do. So I also don't want to say that you have to eat the ingredient for the special ability to happen. So there's just some kind of like wordsmithing I have to do to make sure that all the mechanics for these special ingredients are very clear and invite the right level of chaos to this game. Uh, the noise of other life is always reassuring. This is very great. I love this. Thank you. So yes, so many spices have health qualities too. This is great. I'm glad you're enjoying this. All right. So look, we are 10 minutes past start. So I am going to go ahead and leave my mic on and we'll see what this first stream is like with me talking to myself while I'm working. All right, let's switch over to this screen here. Now, also just real quick, you're not going to be able to see 100% clear everything that I'm working on. I did kind of want to leave a little bit, there's some folks are worried about like, work getting stolen or maybe I'm going to accidentally release like a spoiler to something that I'm working on. I worked on some blurring effect or something. It was a little difficult to achieve, but I think this effect is good enough for where we're at. I'm not too worried at the moment of people stealing what I'm doing. So, all right, let's get to work. 25 minutes, and then I will see you all on the other side. Oh no. Oh my god. All right. Well, that was fun. Oh my gosh. I guess that's par for the course. My first official writing sprint that I'm streaming. And the productivity was not there. If anyone was watching my screen, I'm sure you saw the big red message that kept popping up. I thought, I mean, I have done this many a time working in home brewery and just coding and writing directly into it and have had no problem. And for some reason, I am having like, oh, I'm still trying to figure this out, but like it won't even let me delete the code that is causing the problem. So I think for the next round of productivity, I am just going to write in Google Docs where I can at least have some reliability and productivity. Man, that was frustrating. But it looks like, let me see, what else did anybody work on during this focus time? That was 500 words on mushrooms I hadn't planned. That is awesome. That makes me feel so much better. Someone else got to be productive during this time. My lesson is learned. I think maybe I will not be doing that again. Yeah, I'm just going to do the actual writing in the thing that I write in and then transfer, maybe not on stream, to home brewery. Hey, I really appreciate you. That was awesome. Good to hear that someone else got some words on paper. We also got a new viewer in here, Blade Zeus. Hi, how are you? All right, so I'm not sure if you were here earlier. I am working on my Tabletop Frenzy Cozy RPG. Ooh, its name is up in the air right now. So I am working on special ingredients and the abilities that they impart that will work within the mechanics of the game that I created because it is no longer D&D. So I think this time around I'm gonna be in Google Docs. Let's see. Did anybody have any trouble with my talking to myself? Because I think I was very hyper aware of it, and so I wasn't really talking, I think, as much as I normally do. Um, this is just something I'm gonna have to work through. I'm just gonna have to be confident about it. Let's see. So we got our progress check. We have a couple minutes. So I just want to chat real quickly about um we had we had I don't even know. This could be a really long chat. Maybe I'll start it and we'll continue it after the next productivity round. But we had wings the other night, Buffalo Wild Wings, not sponsored. And I thought when we were having it that it was really interesting. I tend to lean towards the Asian flavors on my wings, and obviously I have like, an Asian background, so, I don't know, it makes sense. But what I found really interesting was my husband has two flavors and he will always pick those flavors every single time. And our son, who doesn't necessarily, it's not like he's the kind of person who'll be like, oh, you got this flavor, so I'm gonna get this flavor. He's not that person. He's very much his own person. He will try all the things, and settle on his own opinions, and is very confident in his own opinions. And somewhere along the way he settled on the same exact two flavors. And I found that interesting because I also have this theory that when I have this theory that your tastes in your preferences in flavors can be passed down like genetically. And I know that sounds really weird, and yes, there is some environment involved, obviously, but I just feel like if he had not grown up with us, he would still have come around to the same two flavors that his dad also picks. And this is perfect timing because we're at the 5-minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer again. We're going to have a real productivity. We're going to have a real, I got to fix that timer. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it bongs like a church chime and is extremely loud, and there is no volume setting on it. So anyway, let me just finish my story real quick. But yeah, I have this theory. I'm going to talk about the second half of my theory that supports this theory in the next break. I was really trying to figure out, but yeah, this church chime thing, if you guys can hear it, is super loud. So it shocks, I mean, it kind of shocks me every time it goes off. It's almost like playing that game. What is it? Aggravation? I don't know what it is, where you push it down and then you just hear the timer click, 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 and you know it's about to pop and like scare you. So I'm going to have to fix the timer for next one. But yeah, cilantro is genetic as well. Some people taste soap and others don't. My mother tastes soap and is just livid if people put cilantro in her food. I, on the other hand, can't have enough of it. I could probably just eat a whole handful of cilantro and be completely happy. So that is interesting. But I do wonder if that's like my Asian roots taking over, because cilantro is in some Asian cooking as well. Yeah. So we'll have to hash that out in the next break. Um, hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate you joining. I'm going to continue on with my sprints, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, now back to productivity. righty. Okay. Well, that proved to be more productive for myself. Hopefully, you all were able to be productive as well. I'm sure I will be able to figure something out in the future. Even I think the method I'm using right now is still not ideal. I'm not sure what I expected. I am producing. Let's just say that. You know what? I mean, this is time that I've carved specifically to work on this thing. I'm getting it done. So let's see. I was able to update a few items here. What was the one I really enjoyed? This one here. All right. So in the current version of the game that I have created, each chef is able to carry up to 3 resources. Now they can deliver their resources, to the cooking station and cook and so forth. But until then, they can only carry 3. There's one chef archetype that can carry 4, but in this particular case, I created an item where they can ignore their inventory limit just for this turn, which I'm going to find really intriguing because it does say that if you are over inventory limit at the start of your next turn, that resource is dropped, which means it is available for any other adjacent chef to steal, or it's going to take up one of their actions to basically regather the resource. So I'm really excited to see what some players or chefs might do with that particular mechanic. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. What was another one? Um, there was, oh, oh, am I just a mean game master? I don't know. So this other mechanic I created for this special ingredient, use this after a chef has revealed and I should be able to read. Use this after a chef has revealed an intended action against you. The targeted chef must now choose a different course of action. So the idea is that this special ingredient, which is sugar plum mash, you can go deliver it to a cooking station. It can be part of the next dish, and then your team can progress to the next round of cooking dishes. Or if they happen to be harangued, is that a good use of the word, if they happen to be threatened by some other player that is near them, they can use this sugar plum mash. And in my brain, I'm kind of imagining it like, here's a spoonful of sugar, I'm going to shove this down your throat. And as that person is saying, oh, I'm about to, I'm going to steal your resource, or I'm going to use this thing against you, well, then this is kind of their counterspell, if you will, of nope, ha ha, you can't do that, you have to do something else now. We'll see. I haven't yet play tested this version. This is what I'm doing right now, is getting this to the point where I can play test this version. I think it's time for me to hydrate. I think my tongue is dry. I think that's what's going on. So this is a teacup that my husband gave me. It says, a certain darkness is needed to see the stars. We love stargazing, which is what we call it, and sitting out at night and looking at the stars. I also have a D&D character that I've come up with where I'm going to use her as a fortune teller, and so I might play my character with this teacup so that I can read tea leaves as I'm playing her character. So I figure since during some of these streams, people are going to pay to make me hydrate, I might as well switch up my cups every once in a while and give you a little story about. I have a thing about teacups. I have a thing about tea. So maybe I'll share some of that with y'all as I continue streaming. Let's see. What else? Well, we're going to keep working on this. Yes, we are. I think what I'm going to start working on in this next round of productivity here is trying to align my language so that the game mechanics are all kind of using the same key words for the mechanics. And that is the end of this 5-minute break. So we are going to get back into productivity. I will see you and chat with you after the next round. Happy writing! Hey, y'all. Looks like we got some folks in here while we were focused. Let's see. Randy Gray Fox, hello. Geeky, hello. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining. So, if you weren't here for the beginning, what I am working on is the cozy slash frenzy RPG that I am now working on. I have a list of special ingredients, and based off of the overhaul that I did to the system, I'm now kind of just rehashing these special ingredients and what kind of abilities they impart. You were lurking earlier. Hi. Please lurk away. Feel free to lurk. All right. So I realized in the last break, it was short. These breaks I've been doing are 5 minutes. I feel like they're short, but I also feel like the whole point of this is to stay focused. So I can't just keep making really long chat sessions. However, I did start a story earlier that I said I was going to do the second part of the story, which was my theory that uh, preferences in flavors can be hereditary. So I don't know if you guys were lurking around for that, but you can go back and watch it. It's essentially our son, has found his way to the same two exact flavors that my husband enjoys of Buffalo Wild Wings. And I found it to be really interesting because normally he's just not the kind of guy that's like, you like these flavors, so I like these flavors. No, he's usually very much like, I'm going to go find my own path, no matter how inconvenient it is. And I'm going to like the one flavor that is never available. Like that might be what he does. I don't know. But he found his way to the same two flavors. And it got me thinking. I have this theory. Here's the second part of the story. When I was pregnant with my oldest, I was 17 years old. I was pushing carts for Lucky's. I worked for Lucky's supermarket. And I was out pushing carts, and there's a Taco Bell across the way. And while I was pregnant with him, all I wanted was hot sauce and like nacho cheese. If it had hot sauce or nacho cheese on it, smother it and I would eat it, whatever it is. And later, after he was born, after he was old enough, that's all I noticed. That was like all he ate. He loved Taco Bell and he had to smother everything in cheese and hot sauce. I don't know if he still quite does that to this day, but hot sauce is still definitely a thing. And not like that's abnormal, right? Tons of people like spicy food. Tons of people like hot sauce and cheese. No big deal. But then I got pregnant with my second son. And at that point, what was really strange was I like fruit. I like fruit. Everybody likes fruit. But I never really cared one way or another for blueberries. But when I was pregnant with him, everything had to be blueberry flavored. We went to places that had blueberry pancakes, cupcakes, Pop-Tarts, you name it. There was tea that was like blueberry flavored, and that was all I wanted. And then once I gave birth, like blueberry was out the window. Didn't care about it. But as he grew up, every year, today, even, he will suggest for his birthday that he wants a blueberry cake. That's what he wants for his birthday. Everything is blueberry. So this is where it kind of started me thinking, like, my question originally was like, well, maybe I craved those things because that's what they wanted, right? They want it now. They wanted it then, even in utero. But I also do wonder if like the reverse is true, and like what if I had abstained from blueberries? What if I just like didn't give into those cravings at all? Would he still want blueberries? I don't know. So it's got me wondering, it's got me thinking. It also kind of has me like tickling in the back of my brain some world building or character building, for a character who maybe is completely displaced from their heritage, even their parents, maybe, and somehow finding and discovering these things about themselves that are actually hereditary. I think that would be a really interesting character arc, to be like, why do I love this thing. Like, it's so weird and out of the blue. And then come to find out, like, oh, well, my dad liked this thing. My mom liked this thing. My grandma liked this thing. I don't know. Maybe that's not as interesting as I'm making it, or maybe I'm not making it sound as interesting as it can be. It's late, y'all. So, all right. So yeah, to go in tangent with the wing thing, that was just my other story was, if you have friends who are parents, mothers especially, ask them. I would be very intrigued. I, to date, have asked every single mother, and I think there's only been one instance where it didn't line up. Or 9 times out of 10, they'll say like, well, but I didn't have any weird cravings, which is also another thing that's kind of, in this day and age, food is so diverse now than it used to be, right? I mean, mothers had to go get potato chips and dip them in pickle juice, but now we have dill pickle chips, like flavored chips. So like, you don't have to go and find the weird food. We have weird food now. But yeah, go ask your friends. I'd be intrigued to see if this theory holds weight the further out it goes away from me. Um, let's see. Let's check in with the chat. Let's see. I come from a line of coffee lovers. Like the smell, but not the taste. Give me a chai any day. Oh my gosh. Okay. Chai. All right. This is a little bit of a longer break, y'all. I needed one. Um, if you like chai, and I don't know where you live. I live in Northern California where we have all the like, the weird stuff in the city. See if you can find golden tea. If you've ever had golden tea, it's like, to me it's like chai, but there's more like turmeric in it or something that makes it yellow. It's like 5 ingredients. You can actually make it at home. I make it at home. It's like turmeric, honey, black pepper. Hold on. Turmeric, honey, black pepper, coconut milk. Nope. Nope. I'm not gonna remember all the ingredients. My brain is full of ingredients from working on this RPG. But Google it. Golden tea. Golden tea, pretty much. Anyway, give that a try. Let's see. I just got out of my Red Star Chapter 2 game, so I missed earlier. Oh, yeah. I hope you had a great game. I am looking forward to some gaming pretty soon. Um, I really, really want to play test this new iteration of the game. So let's see where we're at. We're at 7. Oh, it's 7:46 where I live. It's not going to be like that wherever you all live. I'll give it 3 more minutes of chat, and then I'm going to get back to some productivity here. Let's see. Are you guys all working on anything, or are you just here to hang out with me? Would love to know if you guys need some, if you're here for some body doubling. Hello there. Oh, I'm willing to bet. I cannot wait to play in Stacy's game. I backed the Witch Kickstarter, and I get to be at table 2. I'm not sure I understand what the table numbers are for, but I backed the table 2, and I'm very excited to play the Witch game with Stacy. Sort of working on a murder mystery, like fiction or a game. Hey, that's okay with the caps. I am pretty loud, so I think I talk with all caps. Oh, a novel. Oh, I'm dying to get to working on my novel. I really want to get there. Currently working on the Space Demonic Unicorn. I can't wait to see that come to fruition and try that one out. What am I working on? All right. So right now I am working on a game. I'm trying to wrap up a game that that I have created, that I've designed, that I'm writing. I have 3 games that I plan to publish this year. One is at like 99%. This one that I'm working on is at about 75%. And then the Liquid Hot Magma right now is at about 15%. Those 3 I would love to get out. At least the 2 that are mostly done should get out and then I can start working on the novel. And this particular stream will be me writing my novel live, but I need to at least button up 2 of those 3 game projects. Uh, yes, TTRPG. Yes. The one that I am writing and working on right now, I wrote up one version. We play tested it. It was using D&D 5e mechanics. Learned very quickly that that probably wasn't where I wanted this to live. So I completely stripped the 5e mechanics out of it, created my own, and now I'm kind of tightening up some of the finer details. Originally it was the Burroughs Best Little Bake Off, which is my British Bake Off meets D&D. It has now become something less baking and more chef, inspired, branching away from just baking. So I'm working on some spices and some special ingredients and the magic that it'll entail. But we are at the top of the 10-minute. It's not the top of the hour, but all right. So I'm going to get started on this focus session here for 25 minutes, and then we will come back and chat. I hope you guys get to be productive. was the end of that focused session. Okay, sorry, just following up on the chat. So, what is my game system based on? D100, D12. Um, that's a good question. Um, right now, it is almost feeling like it has gone from being a TTRPG to almost like a D6 system, almost like a board game in a sense. And I'm not sure if I love that, but when we play tested the first version, especially with D&D 5e, it felt so mechanically heavy for what we wanted the game to be that it it almost felt like it ruined everyone's fun. And so the idea behind the overhaul is that we are I mean, really the heart of the game is that people want to gather ingredients and then get creative with what they're going to make with them, and also kind of like mess with each other's recipes. Um, so they wanted a little chaos. They wanted to interact with each other more, interact with the other bakers. It was bakers at the time because we were doing, Great British Bake Off. They wanted to be able to kind of like infiltrate the other team and mess with their dishes. And so I kind of I stripped it down to its core. And I think we're going to play test this second version this way with kind of it could either be a D6, it could be a D20 system. It could go either way. I think really I just want to see what it could be. And then I want to see where the fun is. And then once I know where the fun is and everyone's having fun, I can really work around what the mechanics need to be to meet that need. But it was really hard the first time around to just try to stick to mechanics, and everyone's just like, but this is not fun. Um, maybe card based too, right? But what I love about what I'm doing right now is that it can be card based, right? I am creating a couple lists that are 52 item lists, if you will, so that it can be card based. But I want the ability for people to play this online, because that unless you are on, what is that, tabletop simulator, is that one? I know that's one where you can kind of play a lot of tabletop games online and they still feel like in-person games. You still have all these components to the game, but I feel like that kind of is a barrier to maybe folks who don't know how to use tabletop simulator. So I really want to be able to make this game accessible to people to play online, like just friends on Discord kind of a thing. So something to think about. So it can be dice based as well. It can be type in Google, roll a D52. It could be a pack of cards. It could be something else. Right now, like I said, things are a little fluid because I think this second go round, the mechanics got in the way. So I just want to see how much fun we can have. What can we do? And then I can try to find the mechanics that fit to keep the fun. And that's the direction I'm headed right now. Who knows in the third iteration what it'll look like, because this second iteration looks very different from the first one. So Owl Bear Rodeo works. Yes. It is very good for that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do with it. I do also want it to be able to be played in person, is the thing. A lot of the games that I design, I try to create maps that are printable on like ledger sized paper, 11 by 17. Even if you have to put two of them together, probably no more than that, and printable tokens and all that stuff. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This is going to be an interesting one. I think, I think that might be it for tonight. I'm open to a little bit more chatting. If anyone else wants to continue chatting, I don't think I have another 25-minute sprint in me, because it is 8:20 here, and unlike Cinderella, I don't shrivel up into a pumpkin at midnight. No, no, 8 p.m. for me. That's when I shrivel. So I noticed in my last 25-minute focus session that I could catch my eyes just kind of like wandering and thinking about something, and I was trying to bring myself back to focus. So that'll be it for this one. I really want to do probably another stream this weekend. Um, that's more chatting and maybe like a crochet corner. I don't know, maybe even like a little podcast episode with a guest, something like I don't know. We'll see. This Saturday, I'm going to be at SAC Anime. I'm meeting up with some friends of mine, some collaborators. They are artists. If you have not heard me talk about Gary Labe, he is an artist that has done art on a Magic the Gathering card. We have collaborated with him on some things in the past. And then his cohort, which I'm his last name is escaping me at the moment, but his name is Chris. Together they are Skyhurst Studios. They do amazing artwork, and so they're going to be at SAC Anime, and I'm going to go meet up with them because we're doing some collaborations and giveaways and promos that you'll probably see on my channels this Saturday. And then I don't know what Sunday's going to be because we have had a lot of construction going on in the house and renovations, and Sunday might be the only day that I have like a little bit of peace and quiet, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing because peace and quiet usually means that my brain wants to write. I want to go to my happy place. But it also means sometimes that the family's like, yeah, but we should do this together while we have the time. I'm not sure yet. But I would like to maybe find some time this weekend to do a stream. So keep an eye out on my socials and we'll see. Here's the thing. I'm probably gonna say this for the first few months that I stream, but I don't have a regular schedule. I have a husband that has rotating shift work, so he goes from daytime to graveyards to something in between. I have a son who is in and out of the house with a million different band things that he's in. And of course he's a senior, so I have to be at all his lasts, his senior prom and his graduation, but also like this is the last concert, this is the last this. So that's creating between that and my life, it's just a revolving door of chaos. I also take care of my mother who I have taken over her health and her finances, and so no set schedule yet. Look for a set schedule, or at least something closer to a set schedule, probably in September after my son goes away to college, and probably life with my mom settles down. And then I will have really only my husband's rotating schedule to contend with, and that is a little bit more manageable and a little bit more predictable. So for now, yes, real life gets in the way of online life. Like the expectation to have a very regular stream for me is going to be very hard to meet. But I am an over communicator, probably maybe to the point of annoyance. So when I do know that I'm going to be streaming, I will put it out on all my socials. If you're on my Discord, there are roles that you can sign up for so that you'll get pings, when I am live or when I know I'm going to be going on. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what other people do. They just have a regular life, I guess. Also, very curious for anyone who's still here. Could you hear my dogs snoring during the quiet times, or is that just me? Am I the only one blessed with the snoring? Because I don't know. I guess it would be interesting if you guys hear it and you like it. Cool. If you guys hear it and you don't like it, then I'm going to have to make myself quiet during focus times and mute my mic. So just really curious. All right. Well, it's 8:25 here. I'm shriveling very quickly. Hey, this was great. Again, this is my. Oh, you didn't hear it. Wonderful. Thank you for the feedback. Um, this was my first official like productivity stream here. Doing some creative sprint writing sprints. So I'm just overjoyed that I had even one person on, let alone multiple people on throughout the few hours. So, thanks again for joining, and I will see you all soon. Have a pretty nerdy life.